Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in. My name is Angel, and I am in the practice of being seen in my authenticity and calling in the team. It's time. It's so time. Um, Being seen and calling in the team. That's my work right now. After running my very first group coaching program, which essentially ended up being a bunch of one-on-one coaching through um, guided practices, which is fantastic. I realize you can't do it all alone, nor should we, nor were we built to. So I'm ready to surrender the identity that was so hyper independent, where I felt like I needed to have it all figured out and do it all alone. So we're going to see where that takes me. Because I think I'm ready to move forward in that way. So, it took me a while to hit record today. Because I just don't know. I'm like, okay, be seen in what? Be seen in what? Be seen in what? So I wrote down a few little things that have been pretty significant in my life lately on little post-it notes that could be, topics. I also would like to start being seen in my desires. So, talking about what it is I do, how I do it, um, because I think the more that you talk about those things, you'll start to call forth the people that resonate with you, whether it's to help behind the scenes, whether it's the specific people you want to serve, or, yeah, just calling in the community, right, in general. But then once I wrote down the post-it notes and have the intentions and whatnot, it just started to get a little overwhelming, for the longest time up until today. It's all been rather organic here. Um, so I'm gonna get quiet, see what comes up, if anything, and hopefully we catch a vibe. Come catch this vibe. Okay. Things are shifting. Can you feel it? Can you feel how things are shifting? Something that's been absolutely taking over my algorithm on social media is what I'm calling the World Cup Hope Core. And that's only one of the ways that I'm seeing things shift. The World Cup Hope Core pertains to the fact that all sorts of different countries came to America for the World Cup. And it's no secret that our media and our politics will and have made America out to be some like ghetto ass embarrassment of division and hatred beyond, right? But for the first time in a long time, people and their experience and their connection to each other and self um, led to something pretty miraculous: love, genuine human connection. I've always been rather obsessed with genuine human connection for multiple reasons. My human struggled with, you know, family, trauma, disconnection with self, weird relationships. And so I've always been fascinated, as many people who have a bunch of trials and tribulations at the beginning of their life do. We always find ourselves in the same psychology classes as each other and obsessed with personal development and obsessed with trying to figure out why people do what they do and, all the healing and whatnot. But that was pretty fascinating. That is something that I saw. that I see is starting to shift in the world. It just gave me hope, like the world was healing for a second, you know? And isn't it funny that when we step outside of our phones and step off the media, we see how easy it is not to hate each other? Another thing that's shifting in my observation is men. Men are learning, men are growing. This is not to say that women are above men in any degree, but it's clear that there's been a disconnect as of lately between there's been a disconnect between men and women and the partnerships and the lack of awareness as to why there's been a disconnect, a lack of accountability as to why there's been disconnect. And last week I had the pleasure of catching catching up with I think three of my male friends for separate occasions and just listening to the conversations that are happening within their friends groups. Each other rise up above the trials and tribulations that they've been through that dictate their belief system and their narratives and the way that they operate. And I love that for them. Selfishly, I love that for us. Right? Um, and the whole week was filled with conversations like that. I couldn't wait to take that back to my girls. I'm like, guess what? And you know, it again, genuine human connection leading to more hope. Now, why are we bringing this up, Spirit? Why are we bringing up the shifts that I'm noticing? For two reasons. One is almost like a self-validation. What? Okay. So seeing the genuine connection and the shifts externally brings up that cute little phrase of it everything starts from within. Change starts from within. And so if the externals are a mirror of what's happening on the internals, then can't help but be proud of the things that I'm seeing because it lets me know that um I am truly embodying the work that I've been doing to become and stay coherent, connected, mind, body, spirit, and present enough for genuine human connection. Huge. Little, little pat on the back there. But the second reason, which I kind of see, let me tune in, hold on. The second reason why we bring up the beautiful observations of genuine human connection leading to more hope for humanity is because all of my life I've clocked the patterns of disconnect and again have become rather obsessed. Then, upon being completely stripped away of all my worldly possessions, really just spent the last few years hermiting and in a deep healing. And within there, I learned some really great tools. Some I learned about nervous system regulation, and my point is the work that I had done over the last few years, I can't help but see is like a common denominator for both connection and disconnection when it comes to humanity. What do I mean by that? I mean, without this work, and this is definitely the lens that me, my soul, my human see the world through from my life's experience. Everybody's going to see solutions and needs of humanity according to their stuff. That's what's so cool. We don't all think the same. We don't all live the same reality because our brains are creating reality and perceiving reality underneath our own lens. But this is just so fascinating to me because without the work that I had done, am doing over these last few years, I'd still be self-abandoning. I'd still be depleting myself for people that are ready to leave or don't have my best interest or whatever it may be. And with this work, I can now show up from a full cup, right? When they say you can't pour from a empty cup, my cup is now full, and whoever is in my vicinity in my orbit gets the overflow. Therefore, I get to show up genuine, authentic, and care for people, care for my community without it completely depleting me. Think about it. Who benefits from maybe women, but people in general truly self-sacrificing their life force energy for people, places, jobs, opportunities, and networks that don't have their best interest? And I can't help but think, it's for the greater good on many different levels to do this work. So when I say this work, I kind of have this outline of work that I've been doing with my girls. And my intention is essentially to help. I actually just got this question a couple days ago of do you only work with women or do you work with men as well? And to be honest, I think everybody could benefit from this work. And, I grew up with boys. I like boys. Um, but I am woman. So I only know woman, right? So I've only been working with predominantly women. But it's fascinating because I recently looked at my like Instagram analytics to see who my audience is as of right now. I've been showing up in the similar fashion as this YouTube thing, just being raw and authentic and like sharing what I'm learning and whatnot. And it's exactly 50-50, which further validates like everybody needs this. And I'm also hearing right now when you're operating from a soul level, not necessarily from a human and an egotistical level, then you are for everybody because your soul sees the humanity of it all. And my particular soul has this really cool superpower where I see everybody's inner child. So it's giving mother, it's giving matriarch, it's giving living leader from a soul's aspect that has grace, compassion, understanding for all. But when I started doing this and when I started planning out the my Grounded Girl program, I did go for women and I think that was me playing it safe because I'm like, well, I don't know men. I am woman, right? So essentially, my intention is to help women go from surviving themselves to trusting themselves. I'm hearing that what I'm about to explain is kind of a lighthouse moment, a call to those who resonate with the mission, those who resonate with the work and intention, those who feel called to do this work, and those who feel called to steward this work. So what I'm about to explain is a little bit of a beacon, like, you know, and I'm also seeing in my mind's eye um that um the scene in, oh God, I'm gonna butcher this. My ex-husband would be so giggle worthy right now. The Avengers movies, when they all assemble, they're completely getting their ass kicked. And then all of a sudden, all these hundreds of portals open up and everybody from every movie ever comes out. It's like, boom, 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 boom. Yeah. That's what this is right now. That's what this is right now. That's what this is right now. I also grew up watching Power Rangers, so it's giving like, let's just pull the team, everybody who has a certain skill. For instance, I have one pal who told me that the sound cuts out in every video for a couple seconds, and I had no idea. So it'd be cool to like get that figured out. But it's less about that. YouTube is less about the technological perfectionism of it all. For now, YouTube is just strictly like practicing being seen and all the things. So here's the intention. Here's the mission. Bum, ba, ba, ba. My mission is to raise the consciousness of humanity, thus raising the vibration of the planet. No big deal, right? Do I feel like an alien when I say that? Yeah. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because the goal had always been normie, muggle, societal and cultural goals for a long time. And listen, I didn't deny those things. I gave those goals my all. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. So we're going to, for science, I giggle because my sister loves my little finger. For science, I want to see what it's like to go all in on myself, mind, body, and spirit. So I'm going to surrender to the mission just to see what happens. I just want to see what happens. So the mission is to raise the consciousness of humanity, thus raising the vibration of the planet. Now, what does that look, sound, and feel like in angel fashion? Well, I kind of just went into like what my lens is and what my gifts are. So here's my intention. Pardon me. Excuse me. Ew. Sorry. My intention. I help women move from surviving themselves to trusting themselves. Women is interchangeable. Men, women, we all fucking need it, right? We're all in survival mode for one reason or another. Resources, lack of resources. We don't have to get into the worries of the world. You can go back to fucking episode 1 of this whole thing if you want to dive into that, right? So what I want to teach, essentially I want to teach that self-expression is not selfish. Self-expression is not selfish. It's restorative. When a person is no longer self-abandoning, we stop resenting, we stop shrinking, and we stop leaking energy. Think about those for a second. What are the benefits? My pattern recognition looks at everything on the macro as far as like wars and politics and the all the divisiveness in the world, all the suffering. And I'm thinking like if we all in a perfect world, right? If we all did this work and we stopped resenting, shrinking, and leaking energy, then wouldn't we be, I'd have to really Google and look up or maybe drop it in the comments. What's the opposite of resenting? What's the opposite of shrinking? What's the opposite of energy leaking? Being more intentional with your energy, right? Then wouldn't we all care for one another? Wouldn't we all from a full cup, not a self-sacrificial. Yeah, that's just it. We'd stop self-sacrificing. Thus, there would be less unknown like anger, right? How often do you come across somebody who's so fucking unhappy that they can't help but just poo on everybody? They need to control the externals in these weird, greedy, and weird ways. let's not get into it. I get a little hyped about this. But the world benefits when people are regulated, expressed, and self-led. I can see it. And that's on the macro. But then on the let's say the micro, I feel like so if we're talking about the world benefits when people are regulated, expressed, and self-led, imagine how you benefit when you are regulated, expressed, and self-led. When you're regulated, you're less reactionary towards the inevitable chaos and change that is life. When you're expressed, there's no suppression, right? You leave it all on the table. There's nothing that needs to be said or felt. Or you know what doesn't necessarily need to be said or felt because you've dealt with it in your regulated fashion within yourself. And you can use your power of discernment of like, oh, that person, you can decide where you and the energy leakage, you get to decide where you now want to put your energy and where it's going to be the most beneficial. You can see now where people who are dead set on not understanding and not wanting to learn, you don't put your energy out there anymore. And self-led. A lot of people right now, and this might be a mirror projection. I feel like it's all a projection, but anyways, I see a lot of people. It started in the, the pandemic. For me, my the first observations of this, I saw a lot of people waking up to lives that they weren't fully present for, and they just kind of settled for. And then I'm seeing that more so now too, with how out loud the dark side have has been, politics, religion, the files, the media. People are just going through the motions. Saddens me very much so. And so, wouldn't it be nice to be self-led, operating from an authentic place, playing your authentic part in the village? So, we're not talking about raising people away from others. We're not talking about, okay, let's go no contact with, I'm currently no contact with a lot of family members, but that doesn't mean my people have to be, right? We're raising people who no longer disappear inside of their relationships. Mm, no longer disappearing inside relationships. So yeah, I'm calling this movement Grounded Girl right now because I'm a girl. But essentially, this is just helping people live their most grounded life. I want it to be a space for people who are tired of managing everyone else while silently abandoning themselves. And inside that container, I want to focus on regulation, detachment, and identity. Future bo- future self-embodiment, stepping into the person you need to be to fully hold and sustain the blessings that you're so desperately calling in. We're teaching these girls how to stabilize their nervous system, release what was never theirs to carry, and to step into a version of their self that no longer needs to shrink to be accepted. It's delicious. It's delightful. It's scrumdiddlyumptious. Self expression isn't selfish. It's what happens when a woman finally feels safe enough to trust herself. If you feel the pull toward becoming more regulated, more expressed, and more self-led, this space is for you. I am geared towards women. I just realized that. But, last night, one of my guys called me and we ran through some of the exercises that I run through with. So maybe when maybe calling in the team is, I need help. This is vulnerable as fuck. I need help really ironing out how I want to help all, the messaging that comes with that, the systems behind the business. I just feel like people deserve a life where, yeah, I just feel like people deserve a life where you don't have to survive yourself and brace for impact and abandon yourself. And this is all because I'm living proof of what it's like to fully embody your authentic nature. And for the first time in my life, I'm able to have capacity to show up for everyone in my community. I have the capacity for joy, the capacity for love, the capacity to receive my blessings, and the capacity to sustain it. Now, it's all a practice, but I'm here to tell you that it's possible. So, I realize I haven't hit record on this YouTube because this is what was supposed to come next. And I've been like stuck in this weird articulation gap of like, okay, Angel, who are you? What do you do? How do you help? How do you do it? And are you in a place to like, okay, world, come on in, intake, and I want to serve everybody? Like, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at. Articulating it. I've got a bunch of the content pathway laid out. I'm also reviewing and refining that first pilot that I hosted. It's been a month now, and I see where um, different things need to be added in, and I'm going to. And spoiler, I'm gonna be hosting some in-person half-day retreats um, here soon, where we go through this content and we start to plant the seeds of this identity work. I'm really excited. I'm really excited. I'm gonna get quiet and see where we go from here. Because I get it, I get giddy. I'm like, oh, and then. This is me saying yes to something bigger. This is me saying yes to the next step. I may not be absolutely clear on where this is going to go and how it's going to get there and who's going to be part of the movement, but me putting this out there is saying yes to something, to the next step that is much bigger than where I am now. Is it scary? Abso-fucking-lutely. Is it necessary? Abso-fucking-lutely. This season is about expansion. This season is about growth. This season is about blooming wherever I'm planted. How proud am I that I don't quit? With all the trials and tribulations and the traumas and the wow, 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 the tumbleweed that I am in this life, no matter where I land, I bloom where I'm planted and I'm putting in the reps. I don't have it all figured out, but I've got these puzzle pieces. I've got a mission, and I have belief in this work. And now, after the pilot and staying in touch with my girls, it works. I'm living proof, but they're living proof. I can't. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. And so while I'm refining and while I'm reviewing and refining the first version of what this work might look like, through my own rest and recalibration, I get to like stay grounded as I add more to what the next version of this work looks like. And so now it's operation stabilization. Now it's about continuing my daily practices so that the ego doesn't get into my mind about like, all the limiting beliefs. Oh my God, it's been a whole month. Everyone's going to forget. This work is timeless. It's universal. It's necessary. Excuse me. So I'm going to continue to do my work behind the scenes, which is stabilizing my new operating system of fully embodying the identity of the living leader that I am. I'm going to continue making peace with the pieces. And now this next level is surrendering to receiving love, right? Because anybody who, well, honestly, if you're watching it this far, thank you. But anybody who still resonates with what I'm saying, as messy as it is, if you feel called to join the movement in any which way, whether it's helping behind the scenes, helping steward in some way, or becoming someone who learns from this work. It's just like the possibilities are endless. You know what's really funny? Story time. Story time, story time. While I'm not on YouTube being seen, I have been, according to the last video, putting this new prototype, this new identity in the real world, right? So I was oh, this is so cute. This is so cute. I was suggested from one women's group of another community. She's like, "Hey, have you heard of, insert brand name?" And I was like, "No." She goes, "Yeah, they hold women's circles from time to time. You should totally go. I feel like you would resonate and you would fit right in." And so I, in my braverism, showed up to this women's circle an hour early because I was a little nervous. I sought out a pep talk from one of my friends, and ultimately, it came down to, okay, Angel, you know what you need to do. So I meditated and I decided, who do I want to embody? What do I want to come out of this? And I told myself, I got real clear. I said, well, I've been working a lot on this identity work, and it's time for me to really anchor in. And what I want is for my energy. I want to be so fully embodied in who I'm meant to be that my energy speaks before my mouth even opens. I want them to be able to feel me as soon as I walk into the room, and I want them to be able to not only see and believe in my mission, but to want to steward it. I want to see what happens. I want to see who's game to help out, right? So, as we're going through the circle and we're stating our names, first of all, the venue was absolutely spectacular. You walk in and the whole place is just so supportive of divine feminine energy. It smells good, it looks good, the lights are on, the meditation mats are out, and it's just absolutely beautiful. As we're going through the circle and we're stating our name and how and why we're there and who we are, I honestly, between you and I here and now, I can't even remember what I said because it was like I allowed, anytime you anchor in, okay, hold on, hold on, hold on. Anytime you anchor in your clarity as to who you are and how you want to be perceived, you become a channel, a clear channel for God to work through you. God, spirit, the universe, mother nature, whatever that is to you. And so in that moment, in those few hours, I know not what I said. I know not what my human was going through because I was a full, clear channel for my higher self to come through. All I really know is by the end of my introduction, there was a beautiful soul sitting next to me. She goes, "So you're telling me that you're only 2 to 3 years into this new identity, and this is you practicing putting yourself out there? You're glowing. Like, how have you come this far and you're this embodied? You're stunning. She saw my light, essentially. I'm not trying to ego boost myself, right? She saw my light. And then out comes these words. She goes, "You are glowing, you are stunning. I would love to take your website photos." Boom. I want to steward your mission because I see your light and I believe in what it is you stand for and who you are. That is the next level for me. And notice how I didn't do more. I wasn't efforting. Yes, it took effort to get there. It took effort to ground. It took effort to embody. It took effort to get in there. It took braverism, courage, all these things. But really, I simply had to be. And I would not have been able to just be if I had not done this work. So, I'm going to wrap this up because I feel like I've been rambling, but I really haven't been rambling. All of the notes that I've made out, I actually I hit it all. I hit it all without, yeah. I was going to second guess just now, like, oh, I hope it all makes sense. At this point, it's just about getting it out and seeing what happens, seeing who resonates with all of that. So I'm going to end it here because I feel like I've stated what I've been up to, what I would like to be up to. I'm calling in the team, stated my mission. If that resonates with you, let's chat. I'm pretty sure I have my Instagram linked in the bio here somewhere. Um, if you want to work together, let's chat. I do a lot of in-person stuff, and then I also do some online, digital, virtual stuff. Um, I'm feeling called to tell one more story. This is hilarious, actually, because I was so ready to wrap it up just now. Another story is I recently reconnected with a few people in some of the networks that helped hold my transformation over the last 2 years. And I am cleaning up my contacts. So I went through and I had scripts written for anybody who I was like, hey, should we keep each other's number? Or, hey, it's been a while. How you been? Or, hi, I'm just following up on X, Y, and Z. And I'm cleaning out, I'm deleting, I'm cleaning out. I want to be more intentional about the people that I keep in my life. And I want to be intentional about the community and the network that I'm building to help support and hold this new identity and her work. So I reach out and one gal says we need to get on a Zoom like right now. And so the next day we got on a Zoom and I've just kind of a little bit like what I've done here today. Told her what I've been up to, how all the healing that I've done and how I've implemented it in my work and all the things. And I'm sure you've noticed, but I don't actually look into the camera as I talk as often as I should. When I'm thinking and I'm pulling from all the spaces, mind, body, spirit, notes, conversations, all the things, experience, I'm looking around, right? But when I look back, she's crying. And I know that that means resonance is happening. And so I ask her, what's up? She goes, I know that spirit has brought us together right now in this moment. I know people who need you. And so that is just like living proof as to what happens when you do stand in your authenticity and you're brave enough to be seen in your authenticity and you speak life into what it is that you believe in. I'm being called to speak to the fear that naturally comes up when you decide that you want to do something bigger, better, or different than what you've been doing. Fear of being seen, right? We say fear of being seen. There's a couple thoughts that are coming in. One is one is I don't think that you're afraid to be seen. I think you're afraid to be seen as figuring it out. You're afraid to be seen as messy or not perfect. You're afraid of people's opinions. You're afraid of rejection. But here's the thing, people are going to talk anyway. I'm hearing the song, Let's Give Them Something to Talk About. Like, people are going to have their opinions and their judgments any which way. And as I begin to fully step into who the fuck I am meant to be, I'd rather be judged on this than judged on the regrets that we all know people have, like, on their deathbed, right? Oh, I have no regrets because I've said yes to pretty much every side quest. So, those are some of the thoughts. All right. I think I'm done. I'm pretty sure. Let me think. It's exciting. Thank you.